Hello, everybody. We are going live here in just a second. See if you guys are on, which is great. So we will give this just a minute, as always. My name is Rob Pearson, director of Shine Basketball Academy. So for those of you guys who are just jumping on, um, we are trying a new format this time, streaming on YouTube. So we'll see how this goes. I know there is a chat feature on the screen, which you can utilize if you have any questions that you want publicly visible. I'll also put my cell phone number in there too, but it's 303-591-4022 if you have any questions that you would like to text me to potentially answer or get back to you. So again, welcome to the live stream, and we will get going in just a second. Got a lot of stuff to cover tonight as we get ready for our winter session, which is really exciting. And we've been on break for the last couple of weeks. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas and New Year's. It went by quickly on my side. So we will get started here in just a second. Okay, hang tight. Again, welcome everybody to our new format, our new YouTube streaming channel. We're going to try this and see. Again, we've been using a different format for a while. Hopefully this one's a little bit more convenient, a little bit more accessible to portable devices and whatnot. Also records the event, so that'll be cool. I'm going to cover a couple of things as I always do this evening. If you guys have any questions, I'll put this into the chat box as well. But if you have any questions that you would like addressed, feel free to text me at 303-591-4022. I've gotten a couple of questions in that we'll cover here in a minute. So excited about that. And we will store these live streams here on this channel is the plan. So this is, like I said, our first time. We're going to see how it goes. Would love any feedback you guys have as far as the visibility, the audio, anything. With this, I'm not sure how we're going to be able to stream additional content here, but we'll figure it out. But I do like the portability of this, so we'll give it a shot and see. I'm joining the modern world here. With YouTube. So, all right, let's get started. For those of you guys who are just jumping on, we will just let them keep rolling in. But again, my name is Rob Pearson. Welcome to the live stream tonight. Shine Basketball is a program based in Denver, roughly Denver, Colorado. Been around for about 18 years, and this is our monthly live stream broadcast to our whole organization. And exciting to get started with our winter session. Hopefully you guys had a fantastic break and we spent great time with your family. I know we did. We didn't go anywhere. We were local. It was busy though. It was really busy. We did a lot of stuff those last couple of weeks, a lot of family, a lot of food, did some cooking, which was fun. Hopefully you guys did some of that. And obviously spent some time in the gym, got a lot of individual sessions done, especially with some high school kids. And some kids that were on break and looking to join us again during the summer. And we'll talk a little bit about the high school season and the summer schedule soon. But we are just starting the winter session now. We run year round. As you guys know, our winter session is January through March every year. And we are back in the gym after our break starting tomorrow. So for those of you guys who are wondering when that's occurring, hopefully you guys have been stretching and stay hydrated and had a ball on your hands, because we'll get back starting this week, which will be exciting. First thing, Happy New Year. And first, congratulations. We do have our elite team. Our 7th gold team was playing already in the Power to Play League. They started yesterday. And so starting out that session with a 2-0 record. I know, Joe, you mentioned that there was a forfeiture on that first game. Doesn't matter. Record's still 2-0. But I saw the score running for that second game. And it was neck and neck, but you guys pulled it out. So congratulations to the gold 7th boys team. Again, just kind of jumping back out of break, as Joe put it, shaking some of the rust off and just showing what we're all about as far as hard work. So congratulations there. That is incredible. let's see here. I've got a list of things. So let's see. Let's see. Calendars. So calendar was updated recently. Just give you a backstory on that. So the Academy utilizes Adams 12 gyms for training for now. And I've got some interesting news and some announcements coming up on a possible change for that one coming up here soon. But for now, we utilize Adams 12's gyms, so which means that we are subject to those gym availabilities. And what we've seen, we've been a customer of Adams 12 for almost 20 years. And we've seen the demand for those gyms increase significantly over time. We're very, very grateful for that relationship with them. We are thankful that we continue to maintain a positive reputation, not just with the administrative office, but even with the schools and the custodians. Some of you guys have talked about, we always leave things better than we found them. Our culture is one of servanthood and servant attitude. So it is so great to see we leave the facilities better. We clean up after ourselves, and that's why the school district loves us. And so every session we reapply, as everyone does, for gym leases. And so we were able to secure another block of gyms that spans the calendar right now between January, and I think it runs through April, if I remember correctly, potentially maybe into June. Let's take a look and see. I can't remember how far that went. So we're definitely into May, and then into June as well. So we've got an established time block, which is fantastic. It means that we're going to have locations to train. We're going to have gym facilities to be able to utilize. As some of you guys might have noticed, however, we were allocated about 3 hours less gym time this winter session than we were the previous session. So we've been going back and forth with the district, and then doing some planning with myself and some assistants on this end to just try to map out the best way to utilize that, considering what we're trying to offer as a program. And so we have two sides to the program, as you guys know, our skills training side, and then the elite team practice, which in some respects overlaps on each other. So what we've done is, I think, the best we can at this point to allocate the gym that we have and the gyms that we have, and to accomplish both things, to be able to accomplish our team practices as well as our weekly skills program. Now, my ambition and goal coming into the winter session was to separate the prep and skills program. Skills is our design for our older kids. The prep was originally designed for the younger kids, those third and fourth grade heading into fifth grade kids. And so we had intended to separate those two. With the allotment that we got, it's not possible for us to do that efficiently. So I believe what we've got allocated now is going to be the best that we can do as it sits. Now, the other thing to consider, and I know there were some messages about the volume of kids in the gym space we have, and some of you guys are relatively new to our program, haven't been around for too long. Some of you guys have been. The other thing you have to understand about the way our program works is that not everybody comes to everything. So what we've seen over the course and the average attendance in each of the nights, we don't have our full attendance in every night. Now, with 2 nights of skills development available per week, the timing of this change, I think, is going to be workable for us, because there are some kids that are pursuing some other sports. We've had some kids that have bowed out of our training academy for the course of the next few months as they're doing some other things. And so our overall enrollment for the academy itself is actually a little bit less than it was in the fall session. It's a normal decline. It happens every time this year. So if there was a time where we're going to lose hours in the gym, and then to be able to manage that, now is probably the best time out of the year to do that. The other thing is that the way we formatted the girls' practices, so we will continue to do the girls' elite practices Mondays and Wednesdays, and we're going to be talking to them about a kind of a new format for that team practice as well on Mondays, Wednesdays, that'll include a little bit more specific work. And so some of those girls may not want to come to Tuesday and Thursday also, just based on recovery time and some other stuff we're going to change. So we'll be talking to the elite teams about that. But overall, I'm confident that we'll make it work. And I'm still talking to the district about a possibility of expanding that hours back in, and we'll see what we can do. But as always, we'll make the very, very best of it we can. The one thing that we are good at more than any, I think, many organizations, is utilizing, smaller spaces and trying to be as efficient as possible. So the goal is going to continue to be, maximizing the reps per kid, getting around the gym and being able to keep the energy high, and then keep the work going. But there's a lot of things that we can get done in a compressed amount of space. and we'll make that work on a nightly basis and adjust. We've had certainly smaller space to work in the past, and we've packed out many gyms over time as we've kind of grown. So lots of experience there. I think it's going to be okay. So if you have any other individual questions for me, and we can talk about that offline as well. So I think I covered that pretty well. But again, good timing, and we got a plan. Really quickly, I'm going to put out a solicitation here. I am looking for some help, a social media manager for the program. So just for anyone that's interested, or if you know anyone that's interested, I'd like to have a discussion with someone who might be interested in actually managing our content on our social media. So that would be our Instagram, our Twitter feed, potentially Facebook. Haven't never traditionally utilized a lot of that, but I'm looking for someone that maybe has an interest in doing that, or in being a participant in that. So if you know of anybody or you're interested, please let me know, and we will go from there. Okay. Let's see. Couple of just housekeeping things. One specifically for Elite. So we have moved to the app. We're, I guess, back to it. We used to utilize it exclusively. We've moved back to it. So there has been some question about which app to use for what. So I think this is going to be much, much easier. The TeamSnap app for the team perspective is going to be where we'll store all of our game schedules. You'll be posting your availability for those games. Hopefully that's 100%, because that's the expectation. But that's where we'll post all of our schedules, as well as our scores and our records and stuff to do with the team part of things for Elite. That'll all be on TeamSnap. Now we'll still do Crew for the main body of Shine. That's for the main organization. We'll still do promotions there. We'll still celebrate. We'll still acknowledge and recognize. We'll still make public announcements and things that have to do with the program over the Crew app. So Crew is the central communication core. We're still going to keep that. And if you're not on it, I would recommend getting on it. There's a link on the website on the calendar page. But make sure that you get plugged in. We're going to use that for group communication for the program. The teams will have a separate communication tool in TeamSnap, and that becomes very handy, especially when we start looking at the summer and we have some of our Elite teams that are traveling. And we've got some other things going on with, out of area gyms and schedules and hotels and other stuff. That app has actually been very, very effective for us. So, TeamSnap is relevant to Elite and Elite games, and then Crew is going to be for main communication. So hopefully that communicates how we're doing that. If you haven't received your link to TeamSnap for your team, then let me know, and we'll work that out as well. I'll just get that resent to you. All right. Let's see here. One quick housekeeping thing on the Crew app. So please consider your audience when you're using the Crew app. So we love the fact that it's highly interactive and people can use it to communicate. We've had all sorts of things there, from posted celebrations to we've needed carpools. I mean, it's a fantastic tool for keeping us unified as an organization. However, your messages do get broadcast to the whole organization. So there is an ability in Crew to send an individual message. You can send an individual message to me or to anybody in that app. So consider the audience as you're authoring your message. It's a great tool, but we want to make sure that if you've got something personal or something related to your athlete or family, privatize that. Put that in a private channel, or just communicate directly with me or whoever, whatever coach you need to communicate with. But take that offline so that the main body of the organization doesn't have to read all of those. It also sends notifications out. I think a lot of you guys have it set to set notifications when messages come in. By the way, you can turn those off. So sometimes I know I work even late at night, and I'll post some things or post announcements, just clearing stuff that I want to get done for the day. But I realize that I keep some freakishly late hours sometimes, and that's not the same. My schedule is a little bit different than everybody. So I apologize, first of all, if I've woken you up. Second of all, you can turn those notifications off so you don't have to hear them at times that you don't want to. Okay, so just consider your audience with that. Okay. Let's see, prep and skills training. So I mentioned this already, but the goal is to separate those two groups. That is still my goal, and I'm hoping to get that done as soon as we can, but probably at this point it's going to be summer session where we'll separate the two. In the meantime, we'll keep things rolling as we are, and I think that's going to be great. So we'll keep that moving. Let's see, Elite teams. If you are on Elite team now, check your email later tonight, because there will be some separate communication coming out about our winter schedule. We have some teams playing already, and then some schedules coming out that will be coming out here in the next day or two for the remainder of our teams to compete. So please check email. That will not come out on Crew. That'll come out directly to your email. Okay. Let's see. Elite gear. So those of you guys who ordered Elite gear, at long last, it is in. I have it in my car right out here in the parking lot. So it'll be brought to the gym this week. So those of you guys waiting for uniforms, practice jerseys, or whatever, I have it. So it's in, and we will have it this week. All right. Tryouts for summer. So I know we're just starting winter. And for those of you guys who are focused on team play, or maybe you're looking to aspire to make one of our elite teams, the tryout dates are posted now for the high school and then middle school official tryouts. So to clarify, during the course of the year, we have everyone training in the academy. And then from quarterly, twice a year, we hold open tryouts, which are designed to fill spots on rosters. So if we have an open vacancy on a particular team, we hold an open tryout. That allows kids to try out and fill a spot. Once a year in the spring, we hold an official tryout, which point we blank out all of the rosters and everyone retries out, typically for a team at their next level. So we have our high school or our official, tryouts coming. They'll start with our high school girls on March 5th, 6th, and 7th. That's March 5th, 6th, and 7th, U15, U16, and U17 teams. The middle school will run the next week, which is going to be March 11th, 12th, and 13th. And then it's 11th, 12th, and 13th for middle school. And then the high school boys official tryouts for U15, U16, and U17 will be the following week, the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Real quick regarding the summer schedule, that session lasts from April through September. All right. So what we do is we formulate teams. Those teams play locally and or regionally or nationally, depending on the level. And we coordinate a full travel schedule for those that are heading out of state. That is probably one of the most exciting times for a youth athlete, is to get on a plane in your gear, travel as a team, and arrive in a different city, carpool it over to a hotel, roommate with, get some great meals, play some great basketball against great competition, film sessions afterwards in the evening. We treat our teams like college teams. So we're on a fixed routine, which does include our game time, our prep, our post-game stuff, team meals. We do film breakdowns. Usually we lease a full-on conference room from the hotel, and we'll spend an hour or so doing, high-level, high IQ breakdowns. We look at film of our own team. We look at film of other teams. We prepare for the next day, and then somewhere along the line, we have some fun. We have an annual sushi dinner that happens every year in California, which is awesome. If you like sushi, if you don't, we'll teach you how. But that's pretty incredible. We've done that now for the last 3 years, and that's fun. Last summer, we had teams on the Santa Monica Pier. We had teams up in, let's see, where were we? Over in Kansas. We had a couple of teams travel up to the Pacific Northwest. And then we were scheduled down in Dallas. So we have a good schedule. We're finishing that out. And that's, again, for typically our U16, U17 teams. So for those of you guys who are in middle school, it's something to look forward to. It's a lot of fun. Otherwise, we play regionally here, and we run a full schedule. We also are very compatible with your summer schedule. So for those families that are putting vacations together, usually during the month of June, we are off. We'll take some downtime in June. And then the middle schoolers get a couple of breaks during the summer as well. So we plan ahead. But if that's going to be coming up in March, that's going to be exciting. So tryouts for the high school environment. And again, those high schoolers will start trickling back into our environment, and we always shuffle the way that we run training and some of the practices and stuff as we get those high schoolers back in. And then we also do expand gyms. So like I said, working with Adams 12, we'll get the spacing worked out. I'm not even concerned about it, and we'll get that rolling. Okay. So let me see if there's any other questions. You're welcome, Charlie. Let's see. Laura. Okay, so I think we answered the question regarding which app to use where. So if I didn't, then either ping me back here or I'll answer that offline. Okay, what else? How are we doing on time? We're doing great. Okay, so one quick coming soon announcement. And this is a change that hasn't happened for a while, but I think we're at the point where we can do it. So it has to do with pricing for the program. and it's going to be a good thing for everyone, and it's going to have some, I think, some positive impact on the entire program, which will be fantastic. So historically, we've had a separate skills and prep rate. So as you guys know, you guys are all members and aligned, and we've got people on different plans, and you're at different plans at different lengths, which that change has been phenomenal. It's been a lot of flexibility, allows you to budget, and it allows you to get, to maximize that investment and really, time it based on your annual schedule, which is great. We used to have, the model before was, prepaid blocks and all sorts of stuff. And people, were feeling like they didn't have a lot of control. So I love what we have now as a model, but we have two different price points. We have a skills price point and a prep price point. And arguably the prep kids are in the gym with the skills class, and they're getting basically the same training, but sometimes, slightly different, but they're basically in the same gym hearing the same content. So we're looking at a different model that would actually be just a singular membership rate for everyone in the academy, that would be less for the skills side and a small bump for the prep side, but it would meet there in the middle, and it would just be one rate. That we would be predictable across the board and wouldn't have to do the two separate things. We still will look at separating that prep group out just to isolate them for their own training group and their own training emphasis, because they do need a little bit of different focus. Well, so that has nothing to do with the groupings, but we are looking at a standardized kind of flat rate universal across the program. The other thing that we're looking at is implementing some better family discounts for those of you guys who have multiple athletes or multiple kids in the program. We're looking at trying to deepen those discounts. We'll continue the prepaid sale that we did in December. We're allowing you guys to prepay for training packages at a significant discount. Was very, very popular. So we're going to do that again and give you guys an opportunity to take advantage of that. We just appreciate the partnership, and we appreciate the trust that you have and the loyalty you have to the program. We're excited about being able to continue to develop your kids. For the elite level, then we're also working on discounted tournament rates or some additional underwriting coming from the main program, which would be great. So that can include discounts or completely free uniform packages, discounts on or free tournaments. And so we're trying to make the overall experience for everyone in the program beneficial and really exciting, and something that you want to tell other people about. So those are things we're working on. I've got them kind of coming soon, which will be great. And then let's see. I wrote down a couple of things as we kind of wrap this up a little bit. I see your question. Let's see, for those people who haven't ordered jersey for anything. Oh yeah. So we have a team store through Denver Athletic that we currently use for jerseys, anything elite or elite related. So if you need something along those lines, and we need to get you connected to that team store to be able to make that order. So I will take care of that and make sure that we get that team store open again. And then you'll be able to do that soon. All right. So thank you for that question. I will get that reopened. You'll see an announcement come out about that on our crew. And okay. All right. Well, so in line with the new year, it's 2019. I think I'm sure a lot of you guys, like me, made some, took a look at 2018 and tried to figure out what went well, what didn't go well, what can we improve. So I just wrote down a handful of things that, as far as goals for 2019, that we really want to dial in. Some of them are kind of administrative, some of them are a little bit bigger. Number one, the goal, start and end on time. I know that even I have not been consistent with that, just based on running around and being crazy and not making arriving on time to get myself ready to go as a priority. And so there's zero way that I can expect any of our athletes to be accountable to that if I'm not. So that is my number one goal, start and end on time. So we're going to start, for those of you guys who are picking up athletes, we've been cheating over a few minutes. We're gonna not do that. We're gonna be very efficient with our time so that you guys can plan your evenings. I know that sometimes you run a little bit longer, and I want to respect the fact that your athletes have school, they have to rest. You got other things going on with family, other siblings. So we're gonna dial this in so that Shine becomes very predictable for you guys. So that's the first thing. Second thing, more selective enrollment. So Shine's been an open enrollment environment. Primarily, we encourage people to come and sample our environment. And as you guys know, and they come in, get a couple of free workouts. Basically, they get a chance to experience the culture, connect with kids and people. But at the same time, we want to keep our eye on making sure that the participants in the program are actually really there to work and are looking to add value. So we're just going to keep a tighter eye in 2019 on bringing in more and more athletes that really want to contribute to the environment and they really want to grow and are serious and focused about actually developing. The style of our training is going to be a little bit more, I'm not going to say difficult, it's going to be a little bit more focused. So there's going to be less tolerance for time gaps. We're going to be really efficient. We're going to expect the athletes to really move and be focused throughout the night. So you'll see that change starting tomorrow in the gym with the girls practice. And then we're going to continue that through skills and everything else. So the culture is we're going to tune up in 2019. We are launching, we're in the process of finishing this right now, but we are launching a leadership academy, which I am very, very excited about. So we've always been on the court. And years ago, we had a program called Shine IQ, which was a classroom-based basketball education environment where we broke down film. We took a look at position-specific roles and the mindsets of all those positions. And it was well attended, but we kind of got it off the ground a little slow, but learned a lot from that great experience. And so from that, in March of this year, we're looking to kick off the Shine Leadership Academy, which is going to be a membership-based online learning environment led by myself and some other people. And the premise of that is going to be the same concept where we're going to take a look at film breakdowns, teach people how to analyze the game from an off-court perspective, get coaches' eyes on the game, which is going to be great. Talk about leadership concepts individually and as a teammate. We'll cover other topics in there like time management and communication skills and handling conflict and balancing your school and your athletic life. We'll talk about all sorts of things, nutrition. So the Leadership Academy is going to be the kind of the rest of the circle where we've got the training element and skills, we've got the competitive element and elite, and now we're going to have the leadership element in the academy. I'm super excited about it. It'll be an online learning environment that you guys can become members of, which will be great. And you can access it from anywhere. And we'll utilize some pretty cool technology to do that. So that curriculum is being finalized now. We're looking to launch that in March and have a great time with that. So Shine Leadership Academy is coming. Okay, and then the last announcement, and then I got a couple of things to teach on really fast. One is just a player development forum. So I mentioned this last fall before the break and talked about the idea that we want to start to get a little bit more intentional with working with each of the athletes. And so one of the things that we're going to do is we already have, and in my office here, I have a file, it's computer file, but I have a file on every athlete that's in the gym. And right now it's notes and some observations, and it's really one way because it's really for me and we share it with staff sometimes, but it's really just to keep a kind of a pulse on how people are progressing. And it also helps to shape some of the content for what we teach in the gym in general, so we can see things kind of ebbing and flowing as far as skill set and stuff. So we have, and I've utilized this with our teams before, but we have a player development, it's a player development kind of an evaluation and rating system. Now, a lot of thought went into this, and it's been utilized by I'm just pulling it up here to look at it, but it covers several different categories, including shooting skills, dribbling, passing, defense, rebounding, and then athletic ability in general, coachability, gameplay, and then an overall strength rating score. Okay. Now, in general, the rating system works from a 1 to a 5 in each of those categories. And inside each of the categories, there's about 8 or 9 individual subcategories that are also ranked. So all in all, you've got a large progressive scale that ranks from 0 to 5. And it's broken down to 2 decimal points. So it could be 2.72, it could be 4 point whatever. And we get granular about evaluating each of the different skill sets for your athlete. I think the thing that's going to be exciting about, we'll have specific sessions and specific workouts that are designed to assess some of these specific skill sets. So your athletes are now going to get evaluated along the way, not just show up and work out in mass, but at certain times, it's kind of like a combine for the NFL. It's kind of like the skill session for the NBA. but we'll have specific workouts, specific designated nights that are evaluation nights. And then we'll be running athletes through kind of tests if you want, or just kind of snapshots of where they are in individual skill sets. And then we'll rank and rate them and then produce that report back for you, which will be phenomenal as a talk point for you and your athlete to understand where they are and where they're progressing and to be able to track that progress. It's going to be a great accountability for you guys to hold myself and our academy accountable to helping your athlete in those areas and providing tools and resources. And then it's going to be an awesome tool as a foundation for your athlete's development guide, which should be, every athlete should have a binder, should have a record of their workouts. And that's going to be a great foundation for that. We've also seen a correlation between the progression of the scores and their success in high school and on. And certain athletes that have kind of peaked the threshold at each of the different categories, which is always our goal. We've seen a correlation between the success at the varsity level in high school and then success on the circuit during the summer and success as selection for college. So I'm really excited about it. It's already in place. I could kind of show you the screen. So you can see we've got it all mapped out, and it's going to be really exciting as we start inputting some data for each of your athletes and then start getting some two-way dialogue going. Some of you guys are going to take that pretty serious, which would be great. And for those of you guys, the kind of kid that comes up to me and asks me, what can I do to get better? Well, this is going to be a great tool, right? A great template. It doesn't cover everything. There's an awful lot, subjective. It's from our perspective, you're going to need to kind of evaluate it on your own too and take it in on your own. But I think it's going to be a phenomenal tool to help you guys learn and grow individually and us as a program. So excited about that evaluation form, and that starts now. So that'll be effective as we get back into the gym. Okay, so let's see. I think that takes care of just our recent announcements. Calendar is updated with schedule, as I mentioned. So what I wanted to do on the tail end of this, I always like to add some value or content for everybody so they can have something to take away. And I looked through my files and I found two really quick kind of short point discussions. One's for athletes and one's for parents. So I thought that we'd run through this really quickly. The first one is 5 ways that players can improve immediately. Now, this is an article that was written by a friend of mine, Tyler Costin, who's one of the directors of PGC basketball. And for those of you guys who aren't familiar with PGC, here's a short plug for that program. We are partners for that program. The Shine Basketball Academy has been selected as a partner. If you scroll down to the bottom of the homepage at our website, which I am doing now, at the very bottom, there is a link to PGC basketball and a reference to a discount code because we are a partner. So if you have an interest in looking for I would consider one of the best basketball development from an IQ and skill set perspective programs available, I would check out PGC basketball. There's all the information you need. There's also a discount if you want to attend during the summer. They run camps through the summer circuit as well. There's a big residential camp that happens over at School of Mines. I know they do some stuff up in Greeley. There's a shooting camp that happens down at Chaparral High School usually every year. And then we're in conversation with them about hosting an event sometime this summer as well. So excited about that. But I would check out that program. Tyler, who I'm going to borrow his notes from here, he just put together an article called 5 Ways That Players Can Improve Immediately. So I thought I'd run through these. So if you're taking notes, this would be a great time, kiddos, to jot some stuff down in your notebook, okay? So the first thing is number 1, first way that kids and athletes can improve immediately is to take higher percentage shots. Now that sounds silly, right? But here's a way to evaluate and ask yourself a couple of key questions. First, was my shot on balance, right? Was I stable and on balance? Was my shot within range? That's the second question. The third question was my shot in rhythm. And we talk a lot about that in Shine, about your shooting moment, about the alignment of your body, the smoothness of the mechanics, the transfer of energy as you move laterally to vertically. So we talked a lot about that. So again, take high percentage shots and evaluate it. Was I on balance? Was I within my range? And was I in rhythm? All right. It's a great way to adjust immediately. Number 2, second way that an athlete can improve immediately, increase your activity on defense. And I think every parent and every coach anywhere, and I think instinctually we know this as players, time in the basketball game without the ball. And much of the game, half the game at least, is on defense. So when things aren't working well offensively, we have 100% opportunity to make an impact on the game by adding energy on the defensive side. It's amazing the shift that can happen in your attitude and the momentum of the game with a tipped ball, a steal, a little deflection, a pass that you irritated, a closeout that was phenomenal, a solid box out. Any of those little things that you can do on defense can make a radical shift right away and help improve things for you right away. Okay. Number 3 way that you can improve immediately is to increase your talk. And as Tyler puts it, oh, my son's coming in. As Tyler puts it, and Dale Carnegie has said this, communication enhances every human experience. So communicate with your teammates, communicate on the floor. All right. And then you want to be a better defender, you got to do that with your voice. Hang on a second. I'm going to let my dog out of my room. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Thanks. Let's recap. Number 1, take higher percentage shots. Number 2, increase your activity on defense. Number 3, increase your talk. The 4th thing you can do to improve immediately, as Tyler says here, hit someone. Now, that doesn't mean with fists. What he's talking about is increasing the physicality of your game. I don't think that very rarely as a coach or as a trainer do we ever say the words, you're being too physical. That very rarely happens. In fact, I think a lot of times we pray that someone would just touch someone would be phenomenal. So, increasing your physicality on the court is that 4th way that you can dramatically increase your and improve yourself right away. The last and 5th most important thing is to question yourself. So is there anything more that I can do? I can think of a couple of players right now that consistently after practice always come up and say, hey coach, what can I do to be better? How can I improve? What can I learn? Is there anything more that I can do? It's a phenomenal question. Because remember, we can always achieve another level. We can always grow to another point. So it's phenomenal that we get a chance to ask that question. Okay. So 5 things from my friend Tyler in regards to Tyler Costin from PGC Basketball, how I can improve immediately. The second thing and last thing I wanted to share tonight as we wrap up is just something for the parents. I think it's good. It's worth noting as we start our new session. And this applies to training as well as games. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a couple of points. And the question is, how can we be more effective as parents and coaches and leaders for our student athletes? And so as we start the year and you start reflecting on, how did it go last year? How would I rate myself as a supportive parent, an encouraging parent, or was I trying to be a second coach? Was I a nag? Was I really critical? Did I uplift my athlete, or do they dread getting in the car after the game with me because of all the feedback they're going to get? So here's just some thoughts, some things that in terms of a model for kind of tuning up the way that we can work with our athletes. First of all, that you've heard the 24-hour rule. I'm going to reiterate it. How about implementing a 24-hour rule? So for the first 24 hours after your athlete, whether it's training or plays a game, just only provide praise and encouragement. No questions, no criticisms, no tune-ups, no fixes. Believe me, your athlete will remember the game. They'll remember the things that maybe didn't go well. They know where they made mistakes, so they're not going to forget the next day. So, but the first response, how about brag on the things they did well? And not just to your athlete, but how about to somebody else, a relative, a neighbor, and do it where your athlete can hear you, all right? So for 24 hours, let's be a positive encourager. Then the second thing, after 24 hours, if you do have tips, suggestions, modifications, things that you want to offer your athlete, how about taking those things, writing them up in an email, and sending them to your player's coach? How about partnering with the organization or the coach that's actually helping to shape your athlete and help to streamline and unify that communication so that they're not hearing one thing from you and one thing from the athlete? Here's something to think about. Maybe your athlete is getting feedback from the coach on a line of a different point of development. Maybe they were given different instructions during the game. Maybe they saw something different, or they're being directed in a different way by their coach or assistant coach. So inadvertently, we can offer well-meaning advice that could be contradictory to what your athlete is trying to follow, which creates conflict. So if you do have suggestions, I'd recommend writing them out, script them up in an email, and sending them up to your coach. Make the coach or the trainer your partner in helping to develop your athlete. Once you get feedback from the coach, then then you'll usually get some kind of a format of like, hey, here's what we're working on, and here's the ways that we want to encourage your athlete, and here's ways that we just want to kind of let this develop and let it go. Get some perspective, I guess, is what I'm saying. All of us feel like, it's our own kids, and we feel like we want to just offer up the best advice we possibly can. One of the best examples that we can give to our children is recognizing our strengths and our weaknesses, recognizing where we are capable and competent, and recognizing where we need coaching and mentorship. And if we model that ourselves, and by showing them that we're going to an authority or going to an expert or going to someone with experience to be able to get perspective before we just fire off some ideas and opinions, we not only show them how to manage the game experience and their athlete experience, but we also show them how to manage life, because they're going to have many situations like that in the future as well. So just a couple of tips to start out and just improve and be the best we can as coaches and parents for all of our athletes as well. So guys, tonight, this has been our Shine Basketball live stream for January 2019. We will get another one up and running and on the calendar. Looking forward to doing it. Excited to get back in the gym this week. We just appreciate and so appreciate all the families that are in Shine and all the kids that come to work every week and all the hard work that they put in. I'm excited to get back in the gym this week. And if you guys have any other questions, again, my phone number 303-591-4022. Let me know. Happy to talk to you about anything. And we will see you in the gym. All right. Take care, guys.